The whale-headed stork. Shoe-shaped bill. You may be thinking, I'm talking about the shoebill bird. But no siree, I'm talking about the Birdman. Sunraku has been buffed, and with his buff, the man is back, you know what I'm saying? And I would say better than ever because, I mean, it's technically true. His buff didn't really change much, but I mean, he's still Sunraku. He's still the one Birdman that we all know and love so much. The monster in Mono Fire, the god in Nukes. But hey, you know, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's show you what he's doing, right, before we get into all that. In the Mono Fire setup, he's still doing the exact same thing that he's been known for, bro. He has the damage res passive for all fire allies, combined with a character like Valentine's Day Priscilla or Summer Iris. This damage res becomes so much more effective. In this exact setting, we are using Demiurge to really capitalize on this passive damage res and the active damage res. With this exact situation, Demiurge's barrier becomes so much more effective and allows us to survive attacks that we really shouldn't have survived for the most part. And while we're tanking all this damage with Demiurge, Sunraku is providing the team with tons of arch gen, not to mention too the crit res down, and whenever we need it, we pop off of that super art for, of course, the massive amounts of damage. Combine this with Valentine's Day Priscilla, of course, and well, not only does she have the damage res, she also has the crazy damage up, so Sunraku becomes exponentially stronger. Another thing that makes it insane for Sunraku when it comes to any kind of sustained content is that since he's able to provide himself with 100% crit rate on his super art, his true art lowering crit res means that if a boss does have crit res up, he can kind of go through it thanks to his super art. Since he has 100% crit res down, 100% crit chance up, unless they have like 300% crit res or something like that, Sunraku can still crit on bosses that apply a crit res up. If you're fast enough, because of course you still have to make sure that you can go into that super art while the crit res debuff is on there. But even in a fight like this, we didn't really struggle at all, and thankfully Sunraku doing his thing on the damage charts as you see here with 21 million. It's like he never left. It's like he never changed, ladies and gentlemen. The next thing we tried up against was Ganan, because I wanted to see if Ganan could still hold his own in the Ascended era. Ganan's an extremely old boss, but he has like, you know, HP gates, he has a bunch of stuff, and not only this, I've also decided to combine Sunraku with Shadow this time around. It seems like a match made in heaven. You have the physical res down god with one of the strongest physical damage dealers in the game. This has to be crazy, right? And, well, it was a little bit too crazy. We go into the fight against Ganan, and we got everybody going really fast. We were also using, of course, Valentine's Day Priscilla, and we get the crit res down, we get the arch gen, everybody's doing their thing. And I'm like, okay, let me get the DR up with this man Shiro, and really make sure that, you know, we're ready to take on all this crazy damage that we're about to take. And, well, Sunraku decides to pop off with his super art, and, well, after he did this, look at Ganan, bro. Look at Ganan. Look at him. I don't even know what happened, but my brother's dead. Where did all this damage come from? If we look at the damage charts here, you can see Sunraku again with 11 million this time. Crazy work. Last thing I want to do with Sunraku was pretty much take him up against Emmy. I mean, this fight wasn't really going to be challenging, but just give me some time to talk about him overall. Let's have discussion about him. Sunraku is still an absolute beast. Even in nowadays standards with a bunch of other characters that have released over the last year, Sunraku still is able to hold his own and do his thing. Now, one thing that I will say is that I feel like Sunraku in the overall metagame has fallen off a little bit just because of Hoka being released. Hoka is like the brand new character that everyone wants on their lineup, and Sunraku unfortunately shares the same arch gen type as him, so they can't really work together too well. And that's the reason why you've been seeing Sunraku get more and more onto like the nuke side of things than the sustain side, since Hoka's always in a sustain team and Sunraku is usually in the nuke team because his animations are literally like instantaneous, which is incredible for speedrunning, incredible just for nuking like certain bosses or just for certain burst phases that are extremely short. Of course, this guy still provides a lot of utility for you. If you don't have Hoka, then hey, you know, this guy is able to be used literally in every single piece of sustained content as long as the boss isn't like immune to crits. Even if he is immune to crits, you know, you still do give the arch gen to everyone, so you have a little bit of play there, plus like the physical res down and everything with that art. So you can still do a tiny bit with him, but definitely perfect situation. You're probably only using him in nukes for the most part, or you're using him only in Mono Fire, which by the way, his Mono Fire team is extremely good. But really, that's like the only negative with Sunraku. I mean, I guess you could say his debuffs are kind of a negative because he has to apply the debuff. And if you're going through a quest that has multiple stages, then he's not going to be able to reapply the debuffs onto the enemies. Then, yeah, I mean, sure, you could say that that's a negative, right? Since you're stage transitioning. Now, I don't really consider that a negative for the most part. Sunraku, incredible character that really has like no flaws apart from just his arch-gen type. He still hits incredibly hard even a year later. His modifiers are still pretty much the standard when it comes to ascended units. Of course, this may change within the next year since we are going into a whole new year of the ascended era. It could be very possible that instead of like 150, 180k as like the norm, we go up to 210 or like 250 as the norm, which is going to be wild if that's the case. But yeah, Birdman, still pretty good. Of course, though, we couldn't end this video without showing at least one nuke, right? So this is the Special EX on, I think, one of the Shangrala stages. I don't remember. Sorry. I recorded this like last week. And as you see here, we got all the boys, everybody popping off. We did use Chloe here because I wanted to get the fire res down, but I'm like, wait, Sunraku may be a bit too fast. And yeah, I was right. He just instantly deleted it. We cleared it in 6 seconds. This wasn't even the most optimal team to use Sunraku on, but as you see, something like that just goes through it like it's nothing, man. Not to mention too, with a character like Summer Miyu, he's gotten even better at nuking since he's able to get a stacking physical damage buff just like most other physical attackers. And as you see here, Sunraku hitting for 14 million and apparently Forte hitting for -4 million. What the world is that glitch? He's up there, man. He's one of the kings of nuking. You gotta love this guy. You have to love Sunraku. There's no way you don't love the Birdman. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all for hanging out. It's been your boy P. Tell me down below, what do you guys think about the Birdman? You guys liking him? You guys don't? Hey, he's a fan favorite, right? I feel like everybody loves him. If you don't, let me know down below what your thoughts are on the Birdman. Oh, and before you click off this video, check out this video. This is the tier list video that we made, and you can see how the Birdman stacks up against all the other characters in the game right now. Oh, one more thing before you leave, don't forget to drink water.